Welcome to the Sober Stretch podcast, the podcast for anyone with a problematic relationship with alcohol, whether you're a weekend offender, a morning breakfast caner, whatever you are. If you're an alcoholic, we are the podcast for you. I am Gary. I've got my mate here, Craig, my co-host, and today we have a guest. We did it, Craig. We sorted our shit out. And we actually asked recently what people wanted on the podcast, and they were like, get some guests on. So here we are. We've got Jason West with us today, who was a former alcoholic, was recovered for a couple of years, and we're going to get his story for you. So, Jason, hello, welcome. How are you?
Hello, I am very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Very welcome, mate. Very welcome. Saturday night. Look at what we'd have been doing years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be out all weekend. This would be the second night.
Second night, yeah, oh, for sure,
yeah,
definitely.
I'd went out Friday night. I'd still be out now, same clothes.
Yeah,
in my mate's kitchen somewhere.
Oh God!
And I wouldn't have went home until Sunday evening.
I mean, that's identical to our weekends, when it's
yeah. Everyone's like, the fuck. It's just, I love hearing about it because we're all the same, but you think it's only you at the time. But we're all
plenty like it. There's definitely plenty like it.
We all think the same things.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good point, though. Like, you think it's only you. It's funny, isn't it? Because you might go out and get an absolutely rinsed all weekend, and on a Monday morning, you think it's only you, but there are, like, scattered around the country, tens of thousands of men feeling, probably men more, I would say, if you were taking a portion of it. But, yeah, we're all in it together in a way. So, Jason, like, take us back, man. What's your story? Where are you from?
So I grew up in Ash, a place called Ash, little village near where Craig lives, Frimley.
Okay.
Is that where you live, Craig?
What's that?
Is that where you live, Frimley?
Farnborough now, mate, yeah.
Farnborough, yeah, so I'm not too far from there.
Yeah.
Now, I grew up, I had a very good upbringing. I was always told that drugs, that you know, that's bad. Don't touch drugs. Yeah, brought up very well. I'd done boxing from a young age. My dad put me through boxing. I was quite successful, to be fair. I was ranked number 2 in England at boxing, so I was quite good at that. But then when it got to the age of about 15, 16, and I started going out a lot more with the boys, and I'm talking like wandering the streets. I'm going out and wandering the streets with a group of lads.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know about where you are from, but where I'm from, everyone got up to mischief where I was from. And, yeah, no, they was all smoking weed. That's what it was. I never touched anything. I was a good boy. I didn't do anything that was wrong. And then all my mates were smoking weed. And I used to say to them, I used to be very vocal. You know, like what my dad used to say to me, don't fucking touch that. That's a bad thing. And I used to say it to the boys, what are you doing that for? I used to say to him, like, don't do that. Fuck your life up. And the boys started, you know, like trying to avoid me. They you know, like,
because they thought you were boring.
This fucking square. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to see me walking over in the park, and I could see them over the field, and they'd start walking away straight away, and they could see me from a mile away. And I then, because I wanted to keep my mates, that's my turning point. This is my turning point. So I chose to let the people, you know, do what they wanted to do. I thought, if they want to do it, let them do it. But I'll just leave them to it. I won't say anything because I didn't want to upset them. I accepted people taking drugs around me. You know, you've heard it before. You become your environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're hanging around with 5 millionaires, you're going to become the 6th. If you're hanging around with 5 drug takers, you're gonna be the 6th. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, and it made me feel like I could do it. And that was when I had my first joint. Big mistake, obviously. But, you know, I suppose if we don't go through these things, you don't end up who you are now. So, but it never. That was literally just the start. And then it was like the partying. I was going to house parties every weekend because I was a torment in school, so I weren't really popular in my school. But we became friends with people from other schools, like All Hallows in Aldershot. and them schools. So I was going to house parties from like people from them schools. I used to be turning up to these parties with a big bottle of like spirit or like Disaronno or something like that, something like a mid-range strength, and I'd be drinking it straight, thinking I was
Yeah.
the man.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm doing this every weekend, just not thinking anything of it, thinking that it's just a load of fun,
It was harmless, wasn't it? Back
harmless
in the day.
fun, yeah. And you know, it was fun, and
Yeah.
I used to wake up the next day feeling all right. I didn't really feel that hungover because I was young. But then the drugs, I started selling drugs. Once I got to like 18, I wanted to make loads of money, and I wanted it quick. I wanted it there and then. So I decided to sell drugs, and I started dabbling in my supply, and that was it. Then that was just like my life was just because I was sniffing every weekend, and this was like obviously having a major impact on my mental health, and I didn't realise this at the time. I do now looking back, but this was damaging my brain cells, completely like changing me, and I got in a lot of debt with the dealers. Ended up like stopping all that because I kept taking it. I knew I had a problem, so I thought I'm going to stop selling it because I can't have it around me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm still going out every weekend. I'm still going clubbing with the boys every weekend, and I'm still, you know, getting drunk and then buying packets, buying like 0.5s and that.
It's the drinking, isn't it? Like the drinking just leads to everything.
Yeah,
If you don't have
definitely.
the first drink, so much of your life doesn't fall apart. But at the first drink, it's the first domino, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And yeah, the drink for me, because I fell into that cycle of drinking, then cocaine, and then you know it ended up like brasses, like towards the end, towards the end of my addiction. This is what it'd be. It'd be like go to the pub, few pints, pack it. As soon as I've had a couple of lines, I was like on fucking Viva Street. like no, it's funny, but it's sad.
No,
No,
Like
yeah.
well, I guess we're laughing because it's just that's what boys
It's
think is like the way forward, isn't it?
oh mate, like
Boys,
Wolf of Wall Street and that, thinking it's fucking cool. Like
nah, nah.
it's sad.
You know, you go in these places and some of these women, mate, like they're doing it because they've got fucking issues, mate.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not like the nicest of places that you're going into, but you're fucked out your head. You just doing stuff because you're fucked. It's not actually because you actually want to do it. It's probably down to like, you know, you're sitting in the pub anxious and you're like, oh, I've got to get out of here, but I don't want to go and sit at home and twiddle my thumbs, like,
yeah.
and then you end up like doing stuff like that, like with the brasses and that.
Bro, I'd end up going around the brasses on a Sunday, mate, just for a cuddle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. Honestly, I've done it. I've paid like 150 quid and not even done anything. Just sat there. Do you know what I mean?
Watch these
So
tenders.
yeah,
At
Oh
what,
uh,
what
mate.
at what point with the you know the domino, the drink to the coke to the prostitutes, at what point do you go, oh, all right, shit, I need to get a grip on it? How old were you? And then, you know, your boxing maybe has gone right down the pan by then.
that's a good question. So I would say when I knew I actually had a problem and I had to get sober. Oh, that's probably you're talking not long ago. You're probably talking. So I've been sober a year and a half.
Yeah.
You're probably talking about another year and a half before that. So I'd say 3 years ago from now.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I knew I had to stop everything, like alcohol included. But what I was doing, because I'm going to talk about something else for 2 seconds. Alcohol is normalised in society. So when we're born, you know, when you watch cartoons when you're growing up, you can see like there's cartoon characters drinking a bottle of fizzy and then going all dizzy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've probably seen like cartoons like that. It's all so normalised.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, so you never think it's a problem. Not once. My mum and dad always used to say, "Don't take drugs. Don't do this. Don't do that." Never once did they say, "Don't drink alcohol."
Mm.
They never said, "Oh, be careful drinking that because it can make you do stupid things." They never said anything like that. I had to find it out for myself. So yeah, no. What I was doing when I got with my missus, I used to think, "Oh yeah, because she don't take drugs, so I can have a drink with her, and she won't let me touch drugs. It's all right."
Yeah.
But then this might like shock people, but what I used to do because I've got ADHD and my mind's always going.
Join
And
the
when I
club,
drink,
mate.
when I drink and like my mind speeds up even more, we'll be sitting there on the sofa, me and my missus, and I'm there thinking, "Oh, where's everyone at? Where's the boys at?
Yeah.
How can I get a packet? Will
Yeah.
she know it if I get it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm addicted to drinking and then getting the drugs anyway.
Yeah.
That's always popping in my head when I drink. But yeah, no. When we used to go to bed after a good night out, me and my missus would go out for a good night out, and we'll be in bed. I'll be there pretending to go to sleep, and then she falls asleep, and I'll get up and put my clothes back on.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I'll be texting the boys because I know they're always out, as they always are. And I'll text the boys, "Where you at?" "Oh, I'm over here." So then I'll go out, get on it while my missus is at home in bed asleep.
Yeah.
And then
The
she
thing.
wakes up at like 4, 5 in the morning, and I'm not there.
Yeah.
And she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know.
I think, yeah, I think because I don't know you that well, but I do know you. I think we've had a couple of sessions before, and I know you're a good guy and you've got good morals, but that that person when you've snuck out of the house and
Yeah,
stuff like that and left you know that it's not right to leave your missus on her own when she's pregnant and shit. It's as if that's not you. That's like because you've had a few drinks, this different person is fucking taken over. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
100%.
and then you start being mischievous, and you'll do everything you fucking can to get that next level of high. Because just a few beers and going to bed ain't enough,
No, 100%.
and that's why people like us have to fuck it all off because
Yeah,
we can't just have a couple of drinks and go to bed. It don't work like that for us. It's impossible.
Where did it change from like, oh shit, I've got a problem, I'm going out and doing gear while my pregnant missus is in bed, to right, let's fucking accept that this is getting out of hand and something has to change? What was the pivotal moment? Because Craig and I both, well, I certainly had a very specific weekend that changed everything for me. I can't remember, Craig, what was your vibe? How did it? Did
Yeah,
you
I
have?
was. It was bank holiday weekend, and I was still in the same clothes 3 days later,
Yeah.
and I missed work again, and I was having a few beers, and I was like, right, that's it. I'm fucking done with this. I had a couple more, and said, right, that's it. See ya.
Yeah, what was yours, Jason? Like, run us through it.
it's quite complex, my story,
Good.
because
Complex is good.
Yeah, man. It will be relevant for someone watching, so it's fucking good.
yeah, so I knew I had a problem way before my missus, you know, because when I started to get older and more mature, I started evaluating my life. And, you know, I was looking back, I was like, all these fights, arrests, police arrests, going to court, nearly going to prison, you know, all these things, all these like, or making a fool of myself in public, or something like that. Any sort of problem, I was evaluating how and why it happened, and everything was because of alcohol or drugs. Everything. So I then knew, I thought, if I don't take this stuff, I won't get any problems. But then I'm still in that, like, you've got that habit, that addiction in your mind of keep going out every weekend, and to try and change that, it's so like you feel like you're missing out. You feel like you're going to be bored, or like you just feel like you're missing out on something. So I tried to do things. I might try and I used to try and do things like I'd drink and then smoke a joint because I thought I'd rather smoke a joint than get on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I used to do things like that. But then, like you just said about missing work, I work for my dad. So my dad's like protected me loads and loads of times so I could keep my job because he has got a partner, and obviously his partner didn't know that I was having like missing days because of drugs. But he was protecting me, and then he got to a point where he was just like, "No, you have one more day off, and I don't care. Like you're getting sacked."
Mm.
So then, like, obviously, I was still getting on it a little bit, but then I'd go to work with no sleep. I'd like get on it, go out for a pint or whatever. I'd say I'd be driving home from the gym on a weekday, and I'd be driving past the local pub, and I'd see the boys in there, and I think, I'll just go in there for a chat. Go in there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, go in there, have one pint. I think I'll just have one. Then that one turns into 2, 3, 4. Then a packet of gear, and you're like, I'll just do one packet. I'll do 1.5, go
Just
around.
one, just this, just half a gram, just 1 pint. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's before you know it, your alarm clock's going off, and you're fucked out your head.
Can I ask, how did you feel when your dad said, "Right, if you do this again, I'll leave you to hang out to dry"? So
I couldn't blame him.
okay, so there was an acceptance that he was right.
Yeah, I've always had faith in my mum and dad.
Yeah.
I always accepted what they used to say because I thought, they want the best for me.
Yeah.
Naturally, I just knew that from a young age. But I think when you're doing the wrong thing because you're growing up and you're going out trying new things or whatever, and then when your mum and dad's telling you off, I think because it's wrong, but you don't want to be told, you end up fighting back.
Yeah.
Mhm. Resistance hard. Yeah, totally.
It's
Yeah.
it's interesting because it just goes to show how bad addiction is, because you've evaluated your life, you've worked out that every single bad thing stems from alcohol, but you still really deep down don't want to give it up because you're scared of all the change, aren't you? You're scared of not your whole life has to change, really, doesn't it? You stop seeing the people, you have to cut a lot of people out,
Yeah.
and that's what I think keeps people in addiction, is the fear.
I don't think I was scared of the change. It was more of missing out. I felt like if I didn't drink alcohol, I couldn't have a good time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, standard, I think, across the board with everyone like that. No, just because you get programmed to think the only way you do enjoy yourself is doing that. Because if you love getting smashed, you don't do anything else because the pull is too much, isn't it? So you end up, it becomes perpetual, and then you just think that there is no other way of enjoying life, which is tragic.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's exactly how it was for me. If I felt like, because when you're drinking from a young age, and it makes you more confident. Like you think it makes you more confident, and more like chatty with people, and you feel like you're connecting with people a lot more with when you're drunk. It's that aspect. It's like you feel like if I don't drink, I'm not going to be able to fucking, go and
impress
chat to
people.
and but
we've used it as a coping mechanism since a young age, so we've never really actually fucking grown up like without it.
Yeah.
So even having normal conversations like this got to a point where I wouldn't be able to have a conversation like this because I'd need to have a few fucking beers to open up.
Yeah.
Because
I think we just needed beer for we needed drink for everything, didn't we? Anything and everything. I think that's when, everyone says, "Oh, celebration, drink. Oh, bad times, drink." It's a cliche. Oh, Wednesday, drink. Oh, it's I've just woken up, drink. And it just becomes relentless in that fashion.
Yeah.
Like Jason, talk us through the early days of like trying to get off it, and because maybe was that when your missus was still pregnant, or did you have that incentive?
Yeah, no, I had the incentive to stop when I got with my missus, because this was when I'll tell you what, when I was trying to get sober and I was single, and it was just purely for myself. It was like I didn't care enough. It's like I didn't care about myself enough to stop. But then when I got with my missus, and I'm like, I want to be better for this woman. I want to be with this woman, and she means a lot to me. So I want her to look at me like I'm like the best. So that was when I really started, having weeks without it. I was having probably 3-4 weeks at a time without taking anything. But I'd always slip back in. You're talking like 8-9 years of addiction now,
Yeah,
and the damage is done in my brain. So these 3 or 4 weeks off, this ain't doing nothing. This is having no effect on repair in my brain or anything like that. So it's still making me worse. I'm still feeling myself getting worse just by doing it once every 3-4 weeks.
yeah.
And
That's an important point, I think.
yeah, because when you're getting older, like your body don't repair like it does when you're young.
Nah.
So, and especially if I feel like I was allergic to it. So I used to like get real fucking paranoid, and like a lot worse than other people. When I think I was a little bit allergic to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's damaging me a lot more than other people. But yeah, no, fucking hell, I've got a dry throat.
You're all right.
Just
No stress.
I ain't even got a drink in it. But
Well, no drink's better than a naughty one.
yeah. Um, so
Oh, look at him taking a piss, having a sip of his water. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, in your fucking face, losers. 2 liters of the good stuff.
bastard. Right, no, no. When my boy came along, obviously I was with my missus. 6 months later, pregnant, and then 9 months. Then my boy's here, and when I was looking down at him, and there was one time. This was my last time when I had my last drink. So I'm looking down at him. He's starting to laugh. As they grow, they start to smile and laugh, and you can connect with them a little bit.
Yeah.
And when you're doing certain things, like you might try and make them laugh. And I remember the last time I drank, the next day, I'm looking down at me boy, and I'm like, I just couldn't even fucking, interact with him. I couldn't think of what I needed to do to make him laugh, and I was just like, nah, that is it.
Yeah.
There is no way I'm having him looking up at me like I'm being a mong. Can't
Yeah.
even fucking string a sentence.
Yeah.
Looking up at me thinking, oh, I wish my dad could just say no. I
Oh,
wish,
mate.
I wish he just couldn't drink.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There's
That's
no way I'd
fucking deep.
have him looking at me like that.
It needs something that profound sometimes, doesn't it? What
Yeah,
could be more of a sign than you can't even like string a sentence together to make a kid laugh? But the
Oh,
thing is,
mate.
Jason, like that is a pivotal moment in your life. It's not just a pivotal moment in yours; it's in his life and your partner's. But there's so many guys that get that pivotal moment, and then the next weekend they're on it again.
yeah,
So, like, what I'm curious about is you took that sign and you fucking ran with it. I'm guessing.
yeah, yeah. So literally, after that point, I was just like, I don't care what I need to do. I am going to sit in. I don't care if I have to lock myself in. I'm just going to, because all I wanted to do was be a good dad. This is when I was thinking about what's most important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I need to be a good dad, and I need to provide for my family. So I thought, all I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to work, and on the weekends I'm not going out because I can't remember where I read it or watched it, but they said like to break your addiction, it's like you have to stop for like 4 weeks. After the 4 week mark, you will create those new like habits or circuits in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with your new daily routines. So I just said I'm not going out for 4 weeks. I'm going to sit in every weekend, not going to go anywhere, and that's what I done. And just I only went to the gym and places like that. That was like good for me. And then yeah, like and it is true. Like after that 4 weeks, if anyone's watching this
Mm-hmm.
and you're struggling, trust me, try this 4 week test and just create yourself a new routine. And you know, after 4 weeks, you just naturally be like create those new habits, and that's what happened for me. So yeah, after that, it was pretty smooth sailing. After that, apart from the only thing what wasn't good for me was the damage I'd done in my mind. The damage, I couldn't believe it. It took me literally 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months before I actually sat there and thought to myself, yeah, I feel a little bit better now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
I'm getting a little bit of a bounce in my step again.
We say this.
Yes, I'm glad someone
We
else has
we
said that.
we say this a lot, Jay, because people. I mean, some people might have this assumption where they think, or they're expecting to feel brand new after 2 weeks or a month of not drinking, but your brain has to learn how to live without booze. And for you, 6 months, I was still fucked at 6 months. I still felt horrendous. I went to AA at 6 months, and I was like,
Started, eh?
I was like, I was like, this guy said to me, he was like, "What's going on?" I said, "Oh, I've been sober for 6 months." He goes, "Oh, is your head fucked?" And I said, "Yeah, mate." And he was like, "Yeah, that's normal." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And straight away, I felt a bit better because I was like, "Sweet, maybe I'm not damaged forever."
Yeah,
But it just takes a while, doesn't it, for like the dopamine and all that.
yeah,
To,
just for your brain to heal itself, I think.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I'd say at the 6 month mark, that's when I said to myself, yeah, like feel like a little bit of an improvement, like in my mind. I'd say at the year mark, that's when I started to develop like more social skills. So I'd
Yeah.
lost all my social skills. I couldn't go into like a social gathering, like family gathering, and be normal. I was so filled with anxiety and
Yeah,
all
man.
that, I couldn't even talk. I was just literally like a mom. So at the year, when I was a year sober, that's when I was finding it a lot more comfortable to interact with people and just be comfortable in my own skin. Um, but yeah, now what is it? A year and a half. Like now, I'm really flying now. Like I've got confidence back. You know, I don't have I'm pretty zero anxiety. Pretty much. I might get a little bit. If I'm under pressure in certain situations, as normal people do,
Yeah,
you might have a little bit of anxiety under pressure or whatever, but
yeah.
just normal.
It
Yeah, and that's
is.
healthy. And of course, like that's the right way to respond to it is by dealing with it, not boozing. And after a year and a half, you can just deal with it, can't you? Like you've created those from the fourth week of sobriety. Like you say, I agree with you. It takes about a month, and you kind of think, oh, I feel semi normal and human. But you
Yeah,
have to give yourself another good year to, because you've not been socializing normally at all ever.
no,
Yeah, because if you're out selling drugs at 18, like, and get, younger, being involved with people like that, what the fuck do you know? You don't know shit about socializing
no,
properly.
no.
Sure.
All we know of socialising in that stages of our life is drinking to socialise. Like
Yeah.
you're socialising when you're drunk or when you're on drugs in someone's kitchen.
That's
Do
courage, innit? That's
you know what I
courage.
mean? Like when you're fucked out your head and you don't care about anything and you're just talking absolute shit to people.
And it's not even socializing, it's just gibberish. Been to various gatherings and parties where people have been taking drugs since I got sober. And I just wish they could see themselves. articulate, sensible people just talking pish, fucking
Yeah.
shite to each other over and over again. I don't know. It just used to wreck my head, and it still does. If I'm around it, can't be arsed with it. Can't be arsed with it. It's
Because you know it's
embarrassed. I'm embarrassed
bollocks.
for people. I know it sounds like I sound like a knobhead saying this because it's like, no, look, you smashed it for so long, but people need to know they just sound like fucking losers.
Yeah, 100%.
But we were
100%.
so deeply in it. We were just, you think it's profound and eloquent, but it's just all nonsense.
Yeah, that's now one of my something that makes me feel good being sober. Something that you can appreciate when you're when you're sober is when you're going out and you're talking to people now sober. You know that you're not making a fool of yourself.
Hmm.
You're giving good impressions to people now. You're not talking shit. Whereas before, if you was in the pub drunk or on drugs, first thing people think they're going to look into your eyes, see you drunk. That's red flag straight away. Then when you open your mouth and the shit that comes out, people just don't even want you around. They might not say it to your face, but that is what they're thinking in their mind. They're like, "Oh, go away.
Yeah,
Like you're doing my head in." That's what they're thinking.
yeah. Unless you're with
Yeah.
like-minded people and you're all talking bollocks, which
Yeah.
is just like blind leading the blind, isn't it?
Whereas now, when you're sober and you're building this, when you're talking to everyone you talk to, and you're getting good impressions. You're giving good impressions to everyone you talk to. It creates that network of people talking good about you.
Yeah, totally.
So and then over time, people look at you as a credible person. Let's say like whatever you're doing with your work and that, like they're going to trust you to do the work for them.
Yeah,
They're going to trust you to do the PT for them because they know you're sensible. They know you're clear-headed.
yeah,
Whereas if they knew you was
100%.
going out drinking and taking
Yeah.
drugs all the time, you wouldn't get as many people ringing you.
They ain't getting the fucking work done, are they? Let's be honest. You ain't turning up.
No.
It's
With
weird though when people get sober. They're like, I certainly was amazed and enthralled by. I'm reliable. Just such a simple thing. Being
yeah,
reliable, like turning up and showing up on time to places where you should show up and treating people with respect. But if you're like drenched in addiction, you can't even be reliable.
uh,
So and like it's the reliability with your son now. You get all these things back, and they're so like such simple things that you should have been doing anyway. Suddenly become like glorious, and you're so proud of just like I don't crumble at the slightest drama now. Oh, I can change under a certain situation, under pressure, and deal with it. But like most people have been living most of their lives going, yeah, that's how you live. That's
yeah,
normal life. And we're
Yeah.
all like, oh wow, what a revelation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What since you've been sober, what what would you say you've achieved that you wouldn't have been able to achieve? Because I know for one that you've got back into boxing again,
Yeah,
and
loads of things. There's
and
loads. So, um, boxing that was one of them. That was simply down to having loads of free time. You
Yeah.
know, you're not going out no more. You're not socialising with these dinlos. So you've got all these all this free time. What are you supposed to do? Like just sit there.
Mm.
exactly,
You've got to do something to burn your energy. So that was when I started going back boxing. I'll tell a lie actually. I always go to the gym anyway, but I was always telling myself, oh, I need to go back boxing. Once I was sober for a little bit, I need to go back boxing. But I was visioning myself at work. I was driving along, and I was like visioning myself back in the ring, having a proper fight again. And if you've read about law of attraction, they say like, when you vision stuff, you attract it in your life. And I could not believe it. One of my mates rang me when I was visioning myself fighting. I had a mate ring me. I hadn't spoke to him in ages. He rings me while I'm at work. I go, hello. He's like, hello, mate. He's like, I've been training. He said, this is what my mate said. I've been training with this fella at the gym, and he runs boxing shows. He needs someone to fight on his show.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it because I was like,
The same day.
no, like probably after, because I was visioning myself doing this daily. It was like
Yeah.
just
Okay.
naturally, not doing it like on purpose, just naturally thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do long drives at work.
Yeah.
So I was just naturally thinking of myself back in the ring, and then that's when my mate rang me like around that of me visioning. But yeah, that was one of the things that I accomplished was winning that boxing title. Money, so much more money. You know, when you're not spending it all like on drugs and that. So I've accumulated a lot more money. Bought myself a lovely new car, BMW. I've been studying it. You know how I can learn now. I can learn so quick. You know, I'm reading books and you know I'm learning. I'm reading stuff. I used to think I was a bad reader, and even though I struggle to read quick, when after I've read, I'm remembering all the information.
Yeah.
So I'm like nourishing my mind with information, which is then, you know, this is why I've started to create videos and I'm trying to build my life up, like, you know, so I can earn a lot more money in the future. But yeah, there's just everything's just improving. It's just non-stop progression.
It is,
Now
isn't it? Really, it really is that, isn't it? It's just relentless. It's like the momentum gathers, doesn't it? And every single area of your life starts to improve. Because how can it not? Because like you're at a level of like, say, that is shite, heavy drinking, drug taking. Once you
yeah,
stop that, there is only one way to go up. People think it's going to be, oh, I'm going to be miserable and have the FOMO and blah 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 blah, lose all my friends. But as you see the quality of your days and the quality of your future improve, it's quite hard to even contemplate going back, I think, for a
yeah,
lot of
definitely.
people.
There's no way now. You know, after being sober for this amount of time and how good my life's going, you know, the thought of drinking again or taking any of that shit, no way.
No.
Like, because the thought of drinking is tied with all the bad things that's happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you know what I
exactly.
mean? So when you think about alcohol, it's like bad thoughts. It's like
Yeah.
bad problems. Like
Yeah.
fuck that.
You look
So
at it like it's fucking devil's juice, don't you? Like you
yeah,
just see it as complete toxic.
yeah.
Do you
And I
ever
think
get
if you,
people asking you if you're going to go back to drinking, or do they just know now?
Um, I don't think I. Yeah, no, I haven't had many people ask me if I'm going to go back. But I do. I always say to people, like I'll say like if I in a conversation I'll say yeah I've been sober this amount of time now, best thing I've ever done,
Get
and
it off it real quick. Yeah.
I'll just naturally say like no, there's no way I'd go back to that now.
Yeah.
I think when people recognise that, like the authority with which you say something about
Yeah.
sobriety, you almost the dismissive nature towards alcohol. You're like, God no, and they're like, whoa, you who loved it so much are now so unequivocally dismissing it as an option, and then people start to like be like, oh, fair play, respect. You know,
Yeah,
so if you absolutely fucking own it in the pubs or the bars or wherever you are when you start to re-enter into social life, because you can go to a
yeah,
pub again when you get sober. It becomes
yeah,
easier with time. It's just the way you kind of dismiss alcohol as this pest that ruined everything. That's when people start to go, oh, okay, fair enough.
yeah. No, I've actually had people now because it's been so long and people can see how far I've gone. I actually have people come up to me and go, "Fucking fair play, mate. Yeah, keep going."
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
And they're looking up to me now.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
wishing that they could do it. So yeah, I don't get anyone asking if I'm going to go back. I think they're looking up to me now.
Yes.
They're thinking, yeah, fair play. I want to be like that.
Because I can't remember if we said it before we started or once we started recording about how we're all in the same boat on a Monday morning. I think we were running then, but if we weren't, we were saying you think you're alone on the Monday morning in the fetal position, wanting to like fall down a well and hate yourself forever. We're all like that. you know, there's guys and women like that dotted all over the country at the same time, wanting the ground to eat them up, eat them alive. So when someone says it with conviction that sobriety has been the right thing for them, the people that are suffering, they listen to that, they hear that shit, and it starts to make a change. You know, your Instagram, Jason. You know, people are going to watch that and go quietly. They might not say it to their mates, but they'll quietly watch it and go, "Fucking hell, if he can, I can."
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why it's worth doing. You know, never mind the money and the BMW, but the things like showing up for your kid and the money in the BMW and those kind of things are great, because that's like an internal victory for yourself, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's like something that you've maybe felt, oh, never been financially secure and never had a nice motor, and then you treat yourself because you deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm not someone who's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not rich. I'm not like unbelievably wealthy. But, you know, like you just said, it's like, because I've been sober for so long, I've got a little bit of spare money there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, treat myself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, of course you've
That
earned it. You
BMW
know.
literally would have been sniffed up your nose, though, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's fucking mad, like what you can get with your money instead of like buying drugs and drinking, which just brings you nothing but fucking misery and paranoia and anxiety. It's just fucking mad.
And then the money that and cars and holidays, that's not the reward, is it? The reward for hard work is staying sober. That's the reward. The hard work of getting sober, the reward is being sober and staying that way.
Oh yeah, I would say for me, the reward for being sober for me is, you know, the mental clarity, the zero depression, zero anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, the social, being able to socialise, making good impressions with everyone I speak to.
I'm so glad you said that, man. That's exactly how I feel. That's the ultimate win, isn't it? Just waking up, going to bed at night, feeling like a better human, and waking up not having a knot in the stomach. That's what it's all about.
You know, being able to think of something like that you want to do in life, and then making it real in reality.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're taking drugs and alcohol, this is going to make you hungover, depressed, anxious, massive ripple effect on your life where you're not going to stick to what you say because of the depression or anxiety or the hangovers. You're not going to stick to going and doing what you're saying you're going to do.
And you won't believe it anyway when you're drinking and using. Like you don't believe when you say you're going to do stuff. You know, when people laugh at you in the pub when you say, "Oh, I'm going to do this," they're like, "Yeah, whatever, mate."
But,
And now
but
people
then you
don't laugh
stop
at
doing
you
that.
because you
Then you
realise.
stop even believing in it, didn't you?
Hey.
Then you stop believing your own bollocks.
Oh yeah, that's
because
good
you've
though.
said it so many times.
That's a good sign. When you stop believing it, then self-loathing kicks in so hard you've got no other options but to kick the source, haven't you? You're like, "Oh, cold kills."
Yeah.
Not even I believe it.
I bet you've had it. How many times have you've been out and you have someone chatting to you in the pub and they're all on a good level, drunk. Oh yeah, mate, yeah, you're cushy. Really like you. We should go out.
Mm.
You know, we should meet up soon. And then you never hear of them again after that night.
Yeah.
And then I guarantee, like, I don't know if you have, but I've actually messaged people because I'm someone who always like to stick to what I say, or if I say I'm going to meet someone, I'll do it. So sometimes I actually would message the people, and say, "Oh, yeah, do you want to meet?" and that. But they'd always make up excuses. And I used to think, "Oh, you shit talk, bullshitter."
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't tonight. I'm sober now.
I've actually had people, plan to meet me, and then on the day they're like making up an excuse.
It's because of the, again, innit? It's the people just, you're a different person when you're sober, and you've got this false confidence when you've had a few beers and you act like fucking Jack the Lad and you fucking do this, you do that. They probably weren't even the same person who they were making out that they were when they were talking to you, because they fucking lied so much. Because that's what you do when you drink, don't you? You just talk bollocks.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I wouldn't so much talk bollocks. It was more, I'd say things that shouldn't have been said.
Yeah.
Personal things that I shouldn't be talking about.
That's ADHD though, the oversharing.
Yeah.
At the best of times, never mind without the drink in your system, where your mouth runs loose. That's very common with ADHD. It's funny that we've all got ADHD, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of a rhetorical theme, isn't there? Yeah.
A lot more common now.
I want to tap into the boxing. I love watching boxing. I would not get in a boxing ring if you paid me $1 million, but because I'm a fairy. But it's funny, when I had about 8 pints, I thought it was rock hard. But like you're obviously harnessing, because that's no joke, man. Getting in a ring with someone to be potentially smacked in the head. There's obviously a mindset shift that, with training for boxing and committing to a fight, that must take you really far away from the past.
So boxing teaches you a lot of lessons in life.
I bet.
When you've done it from a young age. So no one wants to go boxing. No one wants to go and get punched. Do you know what I mean? You do it because you want to be a good fighter, or if you're doing it competitively, you want to win fights. So it teaches you to do things you don't necessarily want to do, but to get the good results. If you want to win the fights, you got to go training, and you got to train seriously hard. You got to spar the best boys. And it doesn't matter if you're getting beaten up in sparring. You've got to learn from that and then go back and keep going. So it teaches you a lesson of not giving up.
Yeah.
I think this helped me through my sobriety. And this, even with the running, with this run that I've done today, it's my body was just screaming at me to stop, because I'm pushing my body to the limit, but I carried on going because I've told myself I'm running 13 miles. I'm not stopping until I finish. It's the same with this can relate to, this is why it's so important to train boxing, any sort of exercise. So when you're pushing yourself to the limit where your body's telling you to stop, but you carry on going because you're accomplishing what you want to do. This is like when you're getting stressed on a daily basis, or you're getting life problems every day, like stresses or whatever it might be. You don't let this affect you. You are like, no, I'm staying sober.
Yeah.
I don't care about all these emotions. I don't care about nothing. I'm staying sober. It's like
there's a tunnel vision, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's a tunnel vision to drinking as well. I'm just going to get blasted out my mind, and I don't care how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it as quickly as possible, and everything in my peripheral vision can fuck off. It's similar. So if you can, it's like taking those kind of the ADHD, like obsessive traits, and fixing them into something that's actually good for you. Craig does it with running. You do it with boxing. I do it with, I don't know what the fuck I do it with, but I'm 10 years sober now. I don't even remember. But, I did it with walking was my thing. I was just relentless, non-stop. My feet like aching in flip-flops because I lived in Spain, just not having the sufficient padding in my feet. But no, fuck it. I'm going to walk another 3 miles. Don't care.
Yeah.
You become, what's the word?
Resilient.
Yeah, resilient, just like indestructible, I think. But that sets you up for the rest of your life. Like, how do you feel the rest of your life's looking? How old are you, Jason, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 27. I'm 28 in literally 10 days.
Mate, you've got your whole life ahead of you. Do you know what I mean?
Such a good age to do it, man.
I think so. Yeah, it's inspiring, man. Like, I was 33. Craig was what, 31?
30.
30 and 20, 26, 5, whatever age you were when you actually stopped. You can punish yourself enough in 8 or 9 years to really need to stop at 26, 7. Definitely.
Yeah, mate. And I don't know many people that have given up before 30. I think you might be the only person actually that I know. And I think that is such a good thing, because everyone that you speak to who's gone sober will say their only regret is that they didn't do it sooner. But unfortunately, not a lot of people. I don't think that I think a lot of people haven't fucked themselves up enough to realise at 25. I think they still think that they can make it work. Do you know what I mean? By just having a couple. So
I've
it's
got
good that you've done that early, man.
I've got something to say about that. So because I've done boxing from a young age, so I started boxing at 9 years old.
Wow.
So you think I knew what it was like to feel fit and healthy, but also I knew what it was like to stick at something. When you've stuck at something for years on end, and you see the development from when you started to the end, like when you finished, like when you see that because you've stuck at doing this certain thing each week in, week out, you see the progression over the years. And then when you stop doing those things, and then like when I went down the bad path, I could always think like, oh, if I'd have just stuck at doing this, I'd be so good now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So
So
boxing, you mean, taught you a lesson that
yeah, so it's taught me that lesson. It's like
persistence.
being persistent,
Yeah,
consistent,
yeah.
and everything like that. So yeah, I'll definitely say if there's anyone young watching this and they haven't had any like what do you call it, like hobbies growing up, they haven't stuck at anything for long periods of time, I'd definitely say, I definitely advise those the younger lot coming up, to start doing something that they're interested in now
Yeah,
while they're young, and develop like some skills in that certain field.
Yeah, man.
Because it can teach them that lesson that when you stick at something, being consistent and persistent with it, you'd be surprised how far you can go in a few short years.
Really, like, that's a really good point. The ability to cram so much in 2 years sober is mind blowing, isn't it? What you can achieve.
mate.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Because when we're all there Monday
fucked.
morning individually feeling rough as fuck and wanting to, like, maybe potentially, some people take their own lives or, get on it again just to blitz away the pain. I wish someone had told me in those days, bro, 12 months, 2 years, unrecognizable life. I'd have been like, nah, it's going to take me. Okay, it did take me a couple of years to really kind of get to grips with everything mentally. But within those 2 years, after 6 months, I just couldn't believe what I was achieving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Couldn't
mate.
believe it. I was amazed.
I think in 1 year of sobriety, yeah, you could achieve more in that 1 year than what you would in a lifetime of being an addict.
Yeah.
Because a lifetime of being an addict, I can fucking promise you, you will achieve nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like one of those, that realization, when I was taking drugs and alcohol for all those years, and I realized I hadn't gone anywhere. I'd gone backwards.
Mm.
I'd lost all my social skills. I'd lost all these skills that I developed growing up when I was doing good growing up. So then, I was just like, oh, like, I need to stop. I need to like get back on track, start progressing again. But yeah, literally, if you're anyone watching this, honestly, sobriety is non-stop progression.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop getting better. What's going to stop you from progressing if you're being sober?
A
Nothing.
relapse, nothing else, probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
really, it's true, isn't it? Because it's just all exponential. It goes, your life's in the gutter, and then, it's like this rainbows and fucking cupcake moment, isn't it? You're like, wow, I can
yeah,
actually do. I think I realized, like, I can do anything,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
anything I want to do. I
Anything
can
you
do
put your
it.
mind to, anything you put your mind to, you can do it.
But that's
And
tragic
this
because people be
is,
like, what do you mean you didn't realize you could do anything? But like, if you've been boozing and using for so long, it's impossible to see any kind of glorious future. You might think, oh, I might be able to get sober and it'll be agony and painful and I won't enjoy anything. But it couldn't be further from the truth.
Nah.
Limitless, but like Craig and I talk about our misery at the lack of fulfilling potential, so when we were drinking. And the minute we stopped, being alcoholics, we were just our capabilities were just like endless.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it's really hard to comprehend. But when you go from not even being able to get your hair cut without having a drink to fucking to then I don't know, like winning a like you could never have imagined yourself walking out in front of hundreds of people fighting for a title. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's in a
Yeah,
year
well,
and a half. It's
I mean
crazy, man.
that fight was I wasn't even a year sober then, so
Wow.
I was seriously like anxious and like nervous going out to that fight, and I didn't perform, anywhere near as good as I can, when I haven't got the nerves and all that. So to be fair, that really helped me, that fight. It helped me, like, with my nerves, with my anxiety, because I went out and had a fight in front of all those people.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fucking next time I'm just going to be calm. Like,
Yeah.
what was I like that for?
But
Do you
but
know what I mean?
but what I think is like amazing and inspiring for anyone that's listening or anyone that's doubting themselves is you said earlier that it got to a point where you couldn't even socialize with your own family. You couldn't even go to a
Yeah,
gathering because of the anxiety. So
yeah,
so to go from that to then boxing in front of hundreds of people, which for me I think it's got to be one of the most nerve-wracking things you can do, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
it's just
definitely.
one person in a ring or two people, so all eyes on you.
Mm.
To go from that to that is fucking mad.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, it's good. It's good to look back on. And
I
it,
think
it
that
did
can
help me.
inspire a lot of people, can't it? You know,
Yeah, definitely, definitely,
But as a
definitely.
sober person, you like look back on it fondly, and then you're like, right, next, what's now? You know,
yeah,
because you kind of just create
yeah,
new targets, new goals, and you're constantly hungry for achievement and
yeah,
betterment. And it's not like a selfish thing. It's just because all the like the good stuff that we're all doing. We've all
yeah.
got our own Instagram accounts trying to do good and help people. There's just a purity of living, I think. Like you say, not having to wake up and feel like that is the best feeling. But just how clean it is, it just feels, I don't know, it feels rewarding.
I think you fucking deserve it, man. If you've the thing is, yeah, you've said no so many times when you got on this journey of being sober. Yeah, you've said no so many fucking times to having a drink. You
Yeah,
fucking deserve to be able to live your life.
yeah.
Fucking hell. You know what I mean? It's the least you deserve. So I
I
don't.
have got something else to say about sobriety and a little concept that people might like to hear about.
Go for it.
But so if you simplify everything, it's literally down to choices. You have a choice. God gives us the free will to make any choice that we want, right? So you have the choice whether to go and drink and go to the pub, or you have the choice to whether to go to the gym and then go home and spend time with your family. It's up to us to make the right choices, and that will determine where your life goes. So just make the right choices.
Yeah, it's so true, isn't it? It's simple. Like sobriety is simple if you make the right choices.
Yeah,
Nice. Let's leave
Suppose
it.
fucking life, innit? Really, I suppose that can be
Yeah.
anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be sobriety. I suppose it could be work. It could be eating bad. It could be going for the run or not going for the run. So
Yeah.
yeah,
we've
yeah.
got to end on that, haven't we?
Yeah, that was nice. Well, let's finish on that note. Jason, thanks very much for your time, mate. It's been a pleasure and well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Where
Buzzing.
where can people follow your journey?
So I've got my Instagram page and I'm on TikTok, but I'm mainly posting on Instagram at the moment. So my name on there is West_Jason_G.
Cool.
G stands for George, my middle name.
Not like original.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Instagram, TikTok, same name on there. So you can find
Wicked.
me on there.
Excellent stuff. Well, thanks for
Thanks for
thanks
having
for
me
your
on.
time. No, you're
Legend,
welcome.
man.
Really nice. I didn't realize that you two were acquainted. That's even nicer.
Yeah, I know Craig. Well, I've met Craig. I was more close with Craig's younger brother. But yeah, I know Craig from out at the pubs and all that.
I bet you do. Yeah.
So yeah, no, we used to see each other out.
Wicked. Sound man.
But, yeah.
Well, thanks very much. Saturday night, look at us all sat here in. This episode will come out tomorrow, but if you're listening to it, that doesn't matter. So, guys, we are at The Sober Stretch on Instagram. That's where you can find us. We're also on YouTube and Spotify for the episodes which go out at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday. Go and subscribe, follow, share, do all the nice shit. I have my own page, Sober and Sound, Sober letter N Sound. And Craig, what are you on, mate?
I'm on Instagram and I'm at live_without_limits_coaching.
Wicked. We are three lads that have turned it around. Well done, boys. We smashed it.
Lovely.
Nice one. Jason, take it easy, mate. All the best.
Bye.